It's called Advanced Answering Techniques. So it is 3 professional people explaining to other people how to answer different questions, a multiple variety of questions. Advanced Answering Techniques.
Hello and welcome to Advanced Answering Techniques. This is your host, one of your hosts, Josh, and I am here on the podcast where we get questions from listeners. We answer them definitively, ironclad answers. We brook no rebuke. That's not a phrase.
I'm going to use it.
That's Caleb you're hearing, and this is Gabe.
And I guess we got promotions.
Hold on.
Gabe.
Hold on.
Okay.
That's Caleb you're hearing.
Me?
This
I'm
is
Caleb.
This is Gabe.
Me.
There we go. Hopefully Gabe saying me was enough that
Hi.
people who are confused about which voices are which.
Yes.
Gabe has sort of a lower sonority to his voice, slightly lower.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think so.
I'll take it.
I think so.
I think
Hey,
so.
I'll take
Less
it.
nasal.
Yeah.
Well, whereas we have a higher seniority to our voices.
That's true.
Very
Higher
true.
seniority, lower sonority.
Yep.
That's right, sirs.
It's their inverse.
That's how it works, guys. Look into it. Look it up on Google.
Yep. Well, I was just going to say, Gabe and I kind of got a promotion. We're hosts now.
Well, we've always been co-hosts together.
I didn't know that.
Okay. I mean, that's the way I think of it. I don't think of myself as the host.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somewhat famously.
Right.
For 6
that's true.
people.
I just thought this was an unhosted podcast.
Yeah.
I watched. I just want to get this out there.
Yeah.
I watched Last Mohicans yesterday. I got pretty emotional.
Yeah.
It's hard not to with that score.
Dude,
The
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 score.
score does it.
The score.
It doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, many
Promontory.
The promontory.
Is that what it's called?
promontory.
What's that? Go ahead and
That's
explain.
the theme. That's the theme
Is
that
it
everyone
called?
knows from that.
It's called the
like
promontory.
it's like a piece of music. It's like title for some film being really really famous. Like the name of the song is just Promontory, I think.
Promontory.
Promontory. I said promontory, but I think it's Premon. I don't know. And then I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then after that, doesn't matter anymore.
Just kind of a jazz musician's
Yeah.
approach to spelling.
Ah.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's
I just
awesome. Which
wanted to get that. I got pretty emotional.
the scenes that I can think of that gets me right is when Uncas goes off the side.
Sure.
His girl what's her name?
Her
Rachel.
name is Alice.
Alice. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry, Alice.
Yeah.
She's not a real Rachel, if you know what I mean. She
No.
is more of an Alice.
Kind of,
When then
in
she
this
goes
situation,
over.
kind of an Alice in Wonderland,
Yeah.
in a very
Oh.
strange territory.
Yeah, strange territory.
For
She
her.
ends up going down a hole of some kind.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like a grave.
Following a white rabbit, Uncas.
Yeah.
Down a hole.
Yep.
Well, he's not white.
Yeah. He's more rabbit like.
This
I
kind
think
of-
his spirit animal is rabbit.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
No, I think they say that at some point.
It's canon. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
The anyway,
That's what gets me though. That
yeah,
part,
I
right?
mean that. It was more just the.
Oh, and then King
Chingachgook.
Chingachgook.
No, that's okay.
Let's not repeat that part of his
Right.
name.
No. I think it's Cook. So we're okay.
It's like Beetlejuice.
Yeah, we don't want him to show.
No, he'll appear. Yeah.
He looks like himself from Heat
Yeah.
when
right.
he shows up.
Yes.
West.
Yeah, more
well,
of
no. Okay. Oh, whoa.
Hang on,
That's
you are
Magua.
actually- yeah.
That's West Studi.
Oh
West
yeah,
Studi
you're
is-
right.
It's
Well,
not-
I don't want him to show up either.
No, I mean
Yeah.
he's very scary.
He's a scary
It's
man.
amazing that they're able to salvage him in Heat so that he's not scared because he's just kind of a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah,
good
he's
cop.
Just a cop.
But he's
So-
very scary and
He's
Last
so
of the
scary.
Mohicans.
He's the best. That was when I realized like it's like him and Darth Vader. It's like I like all these bad guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
These bad guys are cool.
Magua.
Yeah.
Magua will put the gray hairs seed under the knife.
So good.
Nice. Yeah, there's lots of good moments in that.
Yeah. So where you're crying,
I was-
you're bawling
I was
your eyes
weeping.
out.
I was weeping. It
When
was
Duncan dies.
What's that?
when Duncan dies.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, as an adult, that scene does get
It
you.
is more
where you're
affecting.
like, wow, okay, that guy had no real reason to do that, but he did. And
When
wow.
they mercy kill, well, he did because he had nothing to live for because
Sure,
the love of his life
I
has
understand.
abandoned him.
Yeah.
What's he gonna do?
Right.
I think pretty short-sighted, kind of, thinking.
For me?
No, for him.
For him. Right. That's
Yeah,
what I'm
no, no.
saying.
Yeah,
is
yeah,
like
I
if you
agree.
actually think about it,
Right.
he's got plenty to
This
live
is-
for. There's
Thi-
other fish in the sea.
Yeah.
There's other regents'
But he-
daughters.
Yes.
Yes,
Whatever.
exactly. Yeah. Maybe there are some whose fathers haven't been murdered.
Sure.
recently.
Yeah.
And they're
That are
women that are kind of dealing with
Right,
a lot.
right.
Maybe you could.
But that's sort of the attraction of
Yeah,
them too.
yeah,
you know?
yeah, maybe
Their
there's
dad's gone.
Yeah.
Now they need a husband that's a kind of a dad.
yeah.
Duncan. Daddy Duncan.
See, that part was always like
We always just called him Dunkin' Donuts for some reason.
we
growing
did
up.
the.
I don't know why.
It was always
Dunkin'
goofy
Donuts.
to me. That scene
Yeah.
was always goofy because, but I do get what you
the
mean.
man's being boiled alive.
Having watched more films, you notice that the guy's actually doing a really great job.
Yeah.
Playing that part. He's just sort of he is kind of an annoying,
Yes.
upright, self-important guy. But he's playing that part really
Yes.
well, and you buy it. And then what is he? What is he screaming out? Don't burn me.
Free bird or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
What is he
Yeah, he
screaming
says
out?
freedom, don't burn me,
No, free bird.
free bird, free bird.
He's like a lighter. Yeah.
It's like, please.
yeah.
No free bird. I
No.
don't need
Yeah.
as much fire.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, isn't that a funny thing?
Duncan, is that what it is? They say.
What?
They say something. They're screaming something.
Who is?
It's either them
You're gonna have
or
to help
him.
me
My
more
gosh.
than you are. Currently.
I'm sorry.
What are they-
He's
what is
screaming.
it?
Is it Duncan? And then we used to say donuts to each other.
Yeah, something like that.
Something dumb.
Anyway.
Yeah, he. I said me. I mean, that's one thing they're
I
screaming.
guess now it makes
Okay.
sense that we called him Dunkin' Donuts because he's being dipped into a hot vessel
He's
of,
not.
of liquid.
No, he's
You're
just being
wrong. He's just
burned.
being burned.
Oh, I thought he
Yeah.
was being cooked in
No,
a
I
pot.
don't- It's a different. Wait, what was your perspective?
I was like 10. I don't know. The last time I saw that movie?
No, but
it's
that-
been
Yeah.
more recent than that.
And then it goes from the Indians' point of view, and they see Duncan, and it looks like a big piece of meat.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They're all looking at him like, it's a weird move for
What is-
Michael Mann to do that.
Yeah.
I think he felt he was really getting into the Native American perspective.
Director's got to take creative
Obviously,
license.
they would be appetized just by seeing a man. But to get
That's what-
us on their
We're-
side, they're showing delicious hunks of ham.
Yeah. I just didn't. I wanted to make sure. I want to make sure that we don't think that. That everyone knows that we don't
yeah,
think that.
we're
This
not.
is
Right.
just
Yeah.
apparently what Michael
Yes.
was going on.
Oh
for
no,
Michael
we
Mann.
don't believe that at
No,
all.
that's
Yeah,
not.
that's crazy stuff in that movie.
Something we believe in. It is interesting when you get older and you start to you become able at a certain point to recognize that somebody who is hateable is actually just typically a
Right.
good actor.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's like you're like you start to respect people who are able to be like to really evoke your ire,
Yeah. Yeah.
in a part.
Yep.
It's interesting.
It's certainly true.
Yeah,
kids,
because
kids do not understand this.
you're just like, that's bad.
I just don't
I
like
don't
that
like
guy.
Annoying.
Yeah.
Despicable.
Yeah.
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 And you're
So-
like, that's great character work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I always say to myself.
Adults 1, kids 0.
Zero.
Yeah,
Zippo.
kids are
Yeah.
still losing big time.
Nada.
Adults got points on the board. Kids, big old goose egg.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Let's
Work
get.
on-
Hold on a
Okay,
second.
okay,
Let's
hang
give
on.
the kids a point.
Okay.
What could we give the kids a point for? What's something that we will admit is good for the children have?
That kids have childlike wonder.
Childlike wonder.
Well, for me, I was going to say, they say the darndest things.
That's true, actually.
okay,
so
2 points
kids,
for kids.
Shoot. Oh,
kids are really pulling ahead, aren't they?
They're out there in front
Oh.
by a length.
Let's see if we can catch up with kids this week.
Okay, what about
see.
adults? What's the other thing adults have? Money, bank accounts.
Yeah, that's true. Bank
big
accounts.
fat bank accounts.
Let's not say money. Let's just say bank accounts.
Bank accounts. The money's implied.
Yeah. Yeah.
in some situations.
Yeah. You can have some money in there.
So we're all tied up.
Speaking of kids, we have a question this week from a younger listener. I believe you will have, if you've been listening to the show, you may have heard him previously, I believe, or was it
Oh yeah.
another
No, we've
of
heard
Joy
from
and Stephen's kids? I think we've heard from.
all of the speaking Samson children.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think that's true. So
Sometimes from the ones that don't speak.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
in the background.
just caterwauling.
Yes.
So this question comes from a young listener, and I have a little just to kind of intro him here, a little quick poem. Peter hears podcast. Parents sniping with drama. Peter wonders why Daddy shock Mama. It must
Wow.
be pretty confused. I
Yeah.
was just putting myself in
Exactly.
Peter's position a little bit, just being like, "Wow, this is so odd to
Yeah.
watch your parents have this kind of
And
Feud.
the way that
feud
he
back
kind
and
of
forth."
just immediately put the blame on Steven, that it's like, Steven's inaction in that situation was equated to
Right.
him actually just being shocking his
Right,
wife.
right. Because
Yeah.
you don't believe that, but you're just saying from
right,
Peter's
that's what-
perspective.
that's what it
Peter's
is.
perspective,
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
this be kind of the way it
He'd
seems?
kind of be like, well, Dad owns the stove
Yeah.
and the electricity.
Yeah.
So-
Right. For many children, your father is God.
Yes. Yeah.
He's a stand-in.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it certainly seems that way.
God the Father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Old Testament
Yeah, it's not an accident.
God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Father.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think it's about time to listen to Peter's question.
Yeah,
I love
let's
that.
hear.
What do you guys
Let's
think?
have him
I'm
speak for himself.
All ears.
Okay.
It's me, Peter. I have a question. John kind of stands out in our family with movie tastes. He likes The Hobbit when the rest of us likes Lord of the Rings. He likes the new Ninja Turtle movie when the rest of us don't like it. How can I make him to like the movies that we like, so he doesn't stand out as much?
I love this concern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You look at a brother, maybe some of us have done this. You look at a brother and kind of think, what's wrong with it?
Right. Yeah. There's a moment in every family with more than one boy where
Yeah.
that's going to happen, I think.
Why
For
do
sure,
Why
for
do
sure.
you do that?
Why you
Yeah.
do that? Yeah, I mean, it's very like, it's definitely like oldest brother stuff he's thinking through.
Yeah.
You think so?
In some way, he probably wants less friction
It's-
over
yeah.
what we're gonna watch.
Right.
That's kind of the intent here,
Mhm.
right? Is like if there's a lot of friction,
Yeah.
maybe we don't get to watch what we want. We just like I know this is what happens in my house.
Yeah.
If my kids cause a bunch of fuss over what we're gonna watch, Dad chooses.
Yeah.
and it's something no one wants to watch.
Right.
Yeah.
Not even dad.
That's right.
Yeah, and so that's sort of maybe what he's trying to avoid here.
yeah.
Is that getting into those tiffs? Because if John,
Mm-hmm.
he's the sticking point here.
Yeah.
And we want to get to watch what we want to, and if you make a big deal,
Yeah.
who knows what we'll be subjected
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Some kind of Indian history film,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Yeah.
to. Yeah. Just watching the scene of Mogwai ripping the heart of the
It's not Mogwai.
It's Mogwai.
Unless you're
are-
watching Gremlins.
Unless you're watching Gremlins, that's a
what I was.
Mogwai.
That's what I was talking about. That
That's
scene.
oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
The cute little furry monsters.
Yeah, like before they turn
before they
evil.
turn into gremlins are eating
chicken.
eating a yeah chicken. I always thought of it as kind of a heart, but
Oh, when they're eating the gray hare's heart.
yeah, I'd like to see that.
Yeah, that's. I think that there is definitely. We've got a lot of birth. We like to talk about birth order a lot.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
not on the podcast, but just privately before
Yeah.
we start.
Yeah, it's
But
true.
it's usually
our
sort of
warm-up.
like kind of getting that all in order again before we
yeah.
start.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just sort of
order.
like making sure we know who was first.
What are the different positions in the birth order that really affect things? But that I think that there is a really strong tendency for second-born children
Yeah.
to be somewhat contrarian.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
that's a real dynamic. And I think that's part of what Peter's saying here. Don't you guys think that?
I think
do.
that's true, and I think that it's not just secondborns, but younger siblings will look for any opportunity to
Yeah.
exercise agency and their own will on a situation.
Yes.
A brief aside, if I could.
Yeah.
When my younger brothers and I would be in the car with my mom, and we'd end up going through a fast food drive-through. It wasn't all that regular, but it did happen from time to time. And my youngest brother Seth would get a Happy Meal or whatever with fries in it. That's just what came in the meal. And Seth said he didn't like fries, but whenever Ethan and I would say, "Well, then can we have your fries?" Seth would say, "No, I'm going to throw them away." And that, of course, did not happen because immediately Ethan and I would say, "Mom, Seth is saying he's going to throw his fries away instead of give them to us."
Gonna
And
give
she
his
would make
fries
him
to the
give his
trash.
fries to the trash. Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you just have a situation where somebody's just looking for one little thing that they can use to influence. Maybe they don't have agency in much else.
Can
you
I
know?
just say that was brief,
Yeah. Well,
and I'm
okay.
thankful it was the kind of brief you're saying, because when you said brief aside, I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
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 What?
Just
Like I was going to take my briefs off.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
yeah.
Briefs aside.
No, we want yeah.
Can
on.
we have a real
Briefs
conversation? Can we talk honestly to each other?
If we're gonna talk,
Yeah.
we got to do it commando.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to need you to
Look,
leave
this
the
is
room.
gonna look. Briefs aside, we're gonna have to have a really long discussion
Yes,
about
yeah.
this.
Yeah,
Okay.
Exactly. So I got to make sure that
Yeah. No more briefs.
Yeah.
right. Exactly.
We're gonna need air to circulate during this
Kilts.
conversation.
So
We're
yeah.
gonna do kilt talk. Utilikilt.
Yeah.
No, but that's definitely a thing amongst siblings, is needing to stand out in certain ways. And it looks like John perhaps has come to a point where he's asserting this a little more.
Yeah.
Peter is maybe aligning. This is a thing that happens in oldest child will often align with parents in certain ways.
Yes.
Youngest kids aren't really concerned about standing out. John is.
Mm.
And so
Wait.
yeah.
John is concerned about standing out.
I think
Or
it's
Peter.
possible
You're saying Peter. Sorry.
Peter
Okay.
sees John standing out. He's concerned
Right.
about John standing out.
I see.
But I
see.
believe that John is also
He wants to stand.
interested in standing out.
Yes. I see.
Probably.
Yep. No, I
That's
know.
a real-
I know what you
that's-
mean.
yeah.
I look. I get it. I mean, I sort of walk in both these realms.
Yeah.
Um,
You're a real
in
day
some
walker,
way.
yeah,
Yes. Yes. Just because I've had the experience of being the youngest.
Yeah.
Like not the youngest. I mean, for a short
did.
time, but
Yeah.
I don't remember that. What I mean is a younger brother
Right.
who wants to stand out. But then I was also everyone moved out, and it was just me at home with my 3 younger brothers. And
Right.
so then I was sort of
Became.
trying to because you become like a negotiator.
Right.
You're trying to figure out how to compromise
Yeah. Yeah.
things. Now look, you don't really want to compromise as the oldest.
No.
You want things to go exactly your way.
Sure.
So you're just trying to get other people to compromise.
Right.
Yeah.
You're trying
know?
to present things.
Yes, things in such a way
Yeah.
that other people are willing to compromise.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I understand both. I can feel both of these sides. But if I'm being honest, I'm going to have to say, out of these examples given,
Yeah.
I'm going to side with Peter.
You think Peter's right?
Peter's right. Peter's
Okay.
right.
He's
The
about-
Hobbit movies
Yeah.
are not as good as the Lord of the Rings
Right.
movies. The newest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, I think, is fairly anti-human.
Oh wow.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to side with Peter. I know that's not the answer to the question, but I thought
Yeah.
I should just get ahead of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Caleb's gone on record right now saying, John 0, Peter
Yes,
Two.
2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And so that's pretty big lead for Peter at this point.
Yeah.
yeah. Peter's got, and the thing is, there's no more examples given,
Right.
So he's pretty
That's
much
kind of
lost.
And
it.
all of the examples
Yeah.
provided were provided by Peter. So
Yeah.
It's not.
you
It's
know,
unfair,
he did
but
kind of
that's
control the
life.
narrative a little
That's
bit.
kind of
Yeah.
life, you know.
That is the prerogative of the oldest child.
Yeah.
John didn't have his own question too,
Which I
you know.
think is something to consider here as well, which is that if Peter was the one that was standing out,
Yeah.
you know, do you think he would still be seeking for ways to get other people on board, or would he be doubling down on his differences, or what? You know,
Yeah.
he seems like he's got a majority consensus on
Yeah.
his side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how did he get that, I guess?
Yeah.
You know? Do you think
is it like he truly feels that way, or is he just siding
Kind
with
of-
what he thinks is going to win so
Yeah,
that he can be the
right.
one who wins?
He's kind of, you're thinking that maybe as this discussion is, I'm imagining
Yeah.
it happening around a table.
Right,
The
sure.
Samsons are gathering.
right.
And Peter
Yes.
and Stephen has a gavel.
Yes.
And they're hearing everybody's positions, and Peter is sort of
Yeah.
holding his until he kind of sees
Yeah.
which way the wind's blowing.
Right. Yeah,
And
exactly.
he gets the conch
I don't know.
Yeah.
and he weighs in.
Yes.
It could be.
Yeah. I think you might be right there. There's some, so that's kind of, not very respectable of Peter, maybe.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yes. Yeah. I was trying to point out how maybe we should not respect this 8-year-old child.
Yeah.
As that is something we often forget to talk about, sort of techniques.
Yeah.
But if you can find ways of undermining the person asking the
Yes.
question
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
and sort of boiling everything down to sort of a Marxist power paradigm,
Yeah.
that is really helpful
Oh, yeah.
as you approach the question, because now it's like,
If you convince people you're the underdog,
Yeah.
and you're not actually,
yeah,
you're going to get so many more people on your side.
Yeah.
right,
People like an underdog.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know,
definitely.
even if they're not really an underdog. If they just people like when someone looks like an underdog.
Yeah.
yes,
Or smells like underdog.
And my thing was yes. Okay, I don't know. Actually, I said yes very quickly, but I don't know if I believe that.
smells like an underdog.
smells like underdog.
Yeah, right.
What's underdog? I don't know what's underdog with you.
What's underdog?
That's so good.
Underwear?
No. What's it's
underwear? The
up
underdog.
Up
I mean, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm sure it doesn't smell good.
It really doesn't sound like any of these things would be good.
No.
You know? What an underwear
But-
is under there because we're having a long talk.
Well, I was going to say, yeah. You can be
been-
you can be forthright with a dog.
Yeah.
Because they're not wearing any.
Yes,
No
it's all
briefs.
out there. Yeah,
Briefs
no
are always a side.
briefs. You can have a long talk with your dog
Yeah.
and your dogs,
And that's good to be thankful. It's good to be thankful.
It's good. To be thankful
That's.
for that.
I'm glad Gabe got to that first, because it is good to be thankful. By the way, Peter, thank you for your question.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot to
Totally.
say that at the
Resulted in
beginning.
a lot of fruitful discussion.
But
And
what are
Right.
the techniques you
Right.
might use to convince someone?
Right.
This is an interesting question because
Yeah.
by answering it,
Yeah.
we're also talking about technique.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely, because yeah.
The question is about technique of
It's about-
convincing someone of something.
Yes. It's a way to, they pose the question of, what if I disagree?
Yeah.
and what's your answer to them?
Yeah. How do you get their taste like your taste? He did say movie tastes.
Yeah.
Too, so it is like, okay. Usually we think of it as movie taste.
Right.
One kind of taste, but
Yeah.
I guess there's several flavors, which I agree with. There's several flavors of movie.
Totally.
There's
So your
cherry.
tastes can be different, or
There's
like
salt
these
and
kinds of
vinegar.
action
Yep.
movies.
There's mango pineapple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's kind of an action movie.
There's,
mango pineapple.
Yeah.
It's kind of the
Uh,
bridges. That's the
Yeah.
analogy.
Right.
Creme brulee.
Creme brulee. That's like a rom-com.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
It's funny and good.
Yeah.
Funny and sweet.
Yeah. Because it crack it up.
You
Yeah.
crack it
It
up
cracks
and
you
you
up.
You
taste
crack.
it.
Yeah.
You look at the movie and you go, you cracks me up.
It cracks me up.
Yeah, it makes you into a creme brulee.
Yeah.
So, how to change somebody's mind ultimately is what it comes
Yeah.
down to. It's if we could crack this question here, we'd be onto something. I think.
Oh, I think so.
One of the real big things here is that you have to be careful to not draw a very, very stringent line in the
Right.
sand
Yep.
with somebody who might be contrarian by birth order.
Yep.
You need to be careful to not like make the distinction more pronounced.
Right.
Right?
You're going to
Completely.
radicalize somebody.
Completely.
Right.
You could.
You're going to really galvanize them in a way so that now that becomes part of their identity. So this is, asking a question like this can tread into some you're starting to entrench this position
Yes.
when you phrase things this way.
Yeah.
You're really noticing. I believe that's not Peter's intention. I believe Peter's. This is another thing I want to say. We're talking about dynamics and power.
Yeah.
With these guys, but I believe that Peter is coming from a real place of seeking harmony in
Yeah.
his
Yes.
family and
Yeah.
like let's enjoy
I think
things
you're right.
together and
I think you're right.
He wants to learn.
I think you're
Yeah.
right. Galvanizing is bad too, right? In this circumstance.
In this
sometimes
circumstance,
it's good. You
it-
need to go. You go to the hardware store. You're
You get-
looking
yes.
for stuff that's galvanized.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
here,
trash
Which
cans,
is-
nails.
right,
Which is funny.
right, right.
Because it
yeah.
is usually just such a masculine sort of
Yeah.
world, right? The hardware
the
store.
hardware
Yes.
store.
So it's surprising that you would want
Yeah.
something to be galvanized and not galvanized.
yes, you're right. You're
So-
right. I will say though, but I
And
will
just,
say
you know,
at the hardware store, there is a lot of girly stuff.
Yeah.
Usually
Yeah.
they're not. They have
what like DeWalt screwed guns and
Hey, whoa.
Whoa,
Don't
whoa,
knock
whoa,
my
stuff
brain.
like that.
I'm
Yeah.
totally
see.
Yeah.
like I'm bought into that battery
Yeah.
pack.
Josh
stuff.
and I-
the battery
Like,
pack.
that's-
Josh
So
and I
that's
are
it.
different.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
a Milwaukee
Yeah,
guy.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm Milwaukee. All
Yeah.
right. He's DeWalt.
Yeah.
I couldn't buy that. I knew
Yeah.
a family named DeWalt.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
were fine.
Yeah. I
knew them
just,
too.
Yeah, I just didn't want to do that though.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't remember what brand my wife's tools are.
yeah. Yeah. No, it's true.
Yeah.
Galvanized. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that was clear that
Yeah.
it's not always bad to be galvanized. I don't want someone listening to this
No, no,
podcast go to the store and say, I
go,
want
"Oh,
to get galvanized.
Remember what they were
trash can."
saying about how
Yeah.
someone can become galvanized?
bad.
Don't-
Yeah.
You wouldn't, I mean, I think it's
negative.
probably,
Our culture is really becoming galvanized.
I think it's pretty much completely bad if someone were to be literally galvanized.
Right.
Like,
We don't want
if a
that. That's
person
kind of a Han
became-
Solo
Yeah.
in carbonite situation.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't want that. But Gabe's. I really want to stop down on what Gabe was saying, which is our culture really has become galvanized. I think this
Yeah.
would be.
The
Isn't that true?
it's
It's true.
I think it's good to
And who did
realize
it?
that that's true.
Who did it?
Who started it?
Was it big hardware store?
Right.
You know,
Yeah. Or just
are
the
they at the
small
bottom of
one.
it? You
Yeah.
know, or small mom and
Yeah.
pop's hardware store,
Yeah.
galvanized culture.
Yeah.
No, I just mean like, boys want to be girls and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
galvanized.
I don't know,
Maybe that
just-
is how we start the transition back
Yeah.
to normalcy.
Hey,
It all
well,
started when we said galvanized instead of galvanized.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who decided? And that was probably like Ace Hardware's. Like,
Yeah,
well, it's
right.
it's no longer galvanized.
Yeah, or not.
Ace.
That's the crazy thing. It used to be galvanized.
Yeah.
Ace
They
Hardware too.
Changed it to
Yeah.
You know,
Ace.
yeah, Ace.
Ace.
Yeah. I mean,
like
I've-
asexual.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
ace.
So it's all there.
Ace sexual. Yeah.
Ace. Well, no, ace is like a code word for like if you identify as asexual,
Oh, really?
you're ace.
Yeah, see, there you go.
So
big A
it's
up.
all there. It's all cooked in. It's all baked in.
This is kind of a bit much for me, and I think we should get back to what we were talking
you think
about.
that
Just
this-
because I can't really, I don't know what to say at this point. You know,
Yeah, right.
like it's too. This is taking
This is
a lot of me to even say this because I don't like to say this.
It's really
But
good.
it's hard for me to say that I don't really know what you
The answer
guys
is?
are
Are talking about?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is, I mean, sometimes when you're working together, this is another kind of technique. We're really leaning on techniques this week. Is some people will be too dumb to be able to follow
What we're talking
complicated
about.
arguments.
Yeah. Right.
galvanized versus galvanized, kind of
Yeah.
the history
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
those words.
Yeah, just
And-
those facts.
And people who are even worse, that are dumb and mean and bad,
Yeah.
Right.
they won't even admit that they're dumb.
Right.
Right.
No,
or
no,
too
they wouldn't-
stupid to follow.
Yeah. It would be hard for them. It would really crush their sense of self in such
so
an important way that they're not
someone
going to do it.
who isn't smart enough to follow all
Right.
that stuff but can
Right.
admit it,
Yeah.
does that make them really good?
Yeah. It makes them maybe in a moral sense. Yes, it does make them.
Very good.
Very good man.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're sort of an innocent, a really beautiful innocent child.
Yeah.
Right.
And that,
right.
maybe that's another point for the adults, is we
Yeah.
can have childlike wonder.
Occasionally,
Yeah. So three to
So I
two.
think it's three,
Three to
so
two. Three to
the
two
adults
so
are
far.
beating the kids.
Yep.
And
Now, did we miss
perfectly
any points for
fine
these
way.
for Peter in his question? Maybe we missed a point.
A point. Well, I
For
like
him.
the caring attitude that he has for his brother.
Right.
Yes.
So that's one. So it is tied up.
Okay,
And
it's
I
tied
think
again.
honestly, listen, I mean the straight dope here is, Peter, I don't think you're going to change your brother's mind. I don't think that's how this works, unfortunately. I don't think you can do it. But
Yeah.
what you can do is you can attempt to understand what motivates these movie choices
Yes.
of his.
Yeah.
And you can also share and communicate to him what motivates
Right.
your movie choices and the group's movie choices. What are the things that you like about these movies?
Yeah.
You can talk about it. That's
Talk
kind of
about
the fun thing about
really
movies.
and really
too.
listen.
Yeah.
Really listen.
And not
Yeah.
not like sometimes when you can ask somebody about their position on something in order to
Yes.
get information and
Yeah.
undermine it.
Yes.
Right.
And that's not the same thing
No.
as listening to understand.
Yeah.
But it is a good technique.
that would be a good
It's a great technique.
you could employ that here too.
That would
Yeah.
be good because
You're
it
gonna
may
need
not-
to do that kind of dirty work if you're gonna want to get this thing going the right way.
right. If you're going to actually change sort of the stream of opinion that you're getting from John.
You're gonna have
Gonna
to get
divert
your hands
it.
a little dirty.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're gonna have
You're
to.
little. You're
gonna-
a young guy.
You're a
and I
little
know,
dude,
but
and you're gonna have to get your hands down in the mud and the muck.
yes,
Yeah.
And it's where it's
it kind of smells. What's
it's what's underwear.
Yeah.
What's underwear?
underdog.
underdog?
So that's sketching out kind of some of this.
Yeah.
A basic answer, which is give up. I guess
Yeah.
you won't be able to
No,
do
no,
anything
no.
about this.
No, divert your
Okay.
efforts of
Yes.
of what's the word that I'm looking for of
Persuasion.
persuading him
Yeah.
that he has the wrong movie taste or
Right.
that he should have these movie tastes or whatever.
Yeah.
But put the effort into moving forward. Okay,
Right.
Lord of the Rings, Hobbits,
Yeah.
TMNT, those are done. You're never going to watch those again. You're never going to sit down as a family and watch those again. You
Right.
cannot come to a consensus on whether you should watch them.
You're gonna
So
have
just
to watch
don't.
Rick Steves.
You just have to give up. Yeah. Yes.
Time to watch
So-
Rick Steve.
So now the assignment is watch Rick Steves Europe,
Yeah.
and then talk about it as a family. What did you like
Try to
about
figure
it?
out which country is best.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Look at the attributes of each country and try to
Right.
figure out which one
Yeah.
is the top.
Yeah. And you'll
You know.
probably find that the family is falling into alignment
on that.
on one country
Yeah.
in particular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rich
Rich
history.
Yeah.
lots of tradition, culture, things there. Yeah, beautiful things. Yeah, it's tricky, and that is the thing. Peter's sort of standing in like this old world
Yeah.
sort of mentality of let's all stand together. What's
Yeah.
tradition?
Yeah.
Let's not stand out.
Yeah.
Whereas John sort of has this frontiers guy,
Yeah.
American perspective of,
Right.
I'm a maverick when
Right.
it comes to movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
Yes. Yes. True
He's
frontier
sort
spirit.
John McCain of watching movies,
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
And I know that John can't actually put his hands over his head either, just like John McCain
It's
couldn't.
kind of hard. Yeah. Different kind of torture
Yeah.
that caused that.
Both. Yeah.
but
Both
definitely
are results
torture.
of torture.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, when you're living in this household.
Oh yeah. Well, there's just free electricity flowing
Sure.
through the home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's there will be opportunities to have like a frank discussion,
yeah.
and you may be able to find that if you're presenting these arguments from a true spirit of wanting the best for your brother,
Yeah.
that's going to be your best bet,
Mm-hmm.
right? Not trying to win, but actually trying to understand and then make a case.
Well, you want him to think that.
Right. That is the most important thing.
Yeah, because you still do want to get it going the right way.
Right.
We do want sort of a Catholicity
Yes.
in our movie opinions. We don't want these sort of frontier types.
No,
out there.
No, I mean, so you're trying to figure out how to convince him
Yeah.
that you are.
Yeah.
What did we say earlier? If I was smarter,
Mm.
I would remember it.
Yeah.
Isn't that something
Well-
you kind of realize frequently?
Yeah. As how memory is kind of the true basis for IQ
Yeah.
or intelligence.
Basically,
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
if I was smarter, I would remember it. You want to present the face of you trying to understand when
Yes.
all it is actually
you want to undermine what he's doing.
subterfuge.
Yeah.
It's a way to reconnaissance.
Yes,
It's reconnaissance
that's-
to gain a better footing for how to convince him that now he appears to be standing apart.
Right.
But
Yeah.
he's not.
Yeah.
He's with you.
Right.
You're all together.
Everybody's really falling into alignment on these things. That's good.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess I'm curious how you could like Lord of the Rings or like The Hobbit and not like the others. Just especially at this age.
You would think the Lord of the
think-
Rings would be the base coat for liking the Hobbit.
Well, but
Now-
also just the level of, I mean for an audience of the ages that these kids
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
It seems like both movies would hit
I-
all
Yeah.
kind of
I
all the same
almost-
notes.
Can guarantee you that I'm speaking word for word almost the arguments that
Okay.
John would use.
Okay, I'd love to hear him. Is it not enough dwarves?
How many
Okay, I was.
how many dwarves are there in Lord of the Rings?
Right. There are a lot.
There's for a moment.
Yeah.
There's only one pretty much throughout the whole
In the
of it.
movies.
In the movie, there's like
one.
you see seven. You see what is it? Well, how many rings for the dwarf lords?
40.
40 rings. I forgot that scene. That was extended edition.
Yeah.
Was
40 rings.
Yeah, like
for the dwarf.
Peter
lords.
Jackson was like, look, I think Tolkien's done a great job with a lot of this stuff, but there should be way more rings for dwarves.
We need probably 8 times the number of
In
dwarves.
the extended edition, there is that opening scene when it shows all the different things.
And it
it's
shows each
using-
one getting made.
Yeah, it shows them getting made and given out to each dwarf.
and you can see the elven ring maker getting pretty irritated.
Pretty tired.
Yeah, he's so
Pretty-
tight. You see him take a nap.
Yeah. He takes a nap.
He's like, my hand is like,
All right.
complaining
Yeah.
about his hands, he's getting carpal tunnel.
Yeah,
gotta
he
make-
takes a nap and
You're only
someone
halfway
rubs some
through, dude.
cream on his
Yeah,
hands.
yeah.
Go make 20 more Dwarf Lord rings.
Yeah, but it goes through that anyway. So you're right. I forgot about that extended
Yeah.
edition. There are, but they're not in there for very
No,
long.
no, it's. I
Peter
mean, it's,
could only go so far with his whims, you know. But
It's long.
in the Hobbit, they're real central,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they're
yeah.
in barrels. They're doing all kinds
Yeah.
of different stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of going to be the big thing for him.
The
is there's
dwarves-
so many dwarves in the Hobbit.
Yeah.
'Cause-
which is funny because it's called the Hobbit and it's not called the dwarves.
right.
Which is, I think, a point against
And
it.
so, in a way, okay, can we use?
So that's 1 point against the Hobbit.
So you're saying in this company of dwarves, who stands out?
the Hobbit.
And it is maybe
Gandalf
this,
too, though.
but
Okay,
no, but
but-
I think but
Yeah,
Gandalf's
you're
not,
not
there
wrong.
consistently.
He's back
He's
and
not.
forth. He's kind
back-
of
he's all over the place.
he's kind of all over the place.
but really the Hobbit does stand out. That
Yeah.
is interesting, Gabe.
So I mean, I don't know where it leads us. I don't
think
know.
Yeah.
well, I think it just goes to show that sometimes like that is the trick with standing out. There are good things about standing out.
Sure.
Yeah.
And there are bad things about standing out. It is the nature of standing out is somewhat there's kind of an ambivalent reality there, right?
Yeah.
Right? Because I think it's there's an old proverb that says the flower that sticks out above everyone else is the one that gets cut,
Right.
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So that is an important principle.
For me, it's a sword.
They're using a sword to cut the
No, it's just the sword that sticks
Oh,
up farther
I see,
gets cut.
Gets cut.
Because it's just, I'm a guy. I don't.
Right, you don't think about
Oh,
flowers.
yeah.
that
Well,
way.
flowers
like
are for
that.
men.
Yeah. Well, I think about it. I think about it as the dwarf whose
Yeah.
head sticks up above everybody else is the one that gets
Yeah.
beheaded.
That's
Yeah.
good too. That's cool because it's grisly and
it's kind of grisly and gross,
yeah.
and it's also like, where did this tall dwarf come
Right.
from?
yeah.
Is that a
he
dwarf?
really a
no,
dwarf?
it's
Yeah.
not a dwarf. Let's cut his head off.
Yeah.
Dwarves only.
Yes,
So that's it.
totally.
Yeah.
Up to dwarves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, lower than dwarves,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But that is like that's a real concern. There's a standing out that doesn't do anybody any favors. But we need standouts.
We need standas.
Yeah, because you want it to rise. You want those swords to go further up.
Yeah, that
Yes.
If
might
the swords just stay in one place,
that might
what
be
is- what's
abusing
the
the
point?
metaphor a little bit, but I do understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The swords, if the swords just stay in one place the whole time.
Right. Yeah, if the swords are not moving up.
Why do we even make these things swords?
Why are we even engaging with this metaphor? if
Couldn't
the
they just
swords
be
aren't
flowers?
moving up?
If it's just like a field of sword,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just standing up
Yeah.
all the same height.
Why do we do
What's the point of that?
Yeah.
How do you even pick it up if it's
Yeah.
pointing
Point
up straight,
up.
or is it handle top?
No,
Handle
this,
top.
no, points up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how do
Yeah.
you pick it? You have to. Yeah, I mean that's. I don't even really want to get into that. I guess.
Yeah, let's not. I mean,
sort of
it's-
chainmail
I know
glove. Probably
this is sort
Chainmail
of
glove.
the kind of realm that I understand more. That
Yeah.
you kind of have to back out of. I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
I know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to get into it because I get
Right.
You don't have to say.
I'm not going to say anything else.
I thought maybe we could sort of you guys could maybe choose a movie that you have a difference on, and we could sort of demonstrate how this might work.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
How some of
tough.
these principles.
I
might
think I have one, but I don't think it's one you guys have seen.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, then
that's
not it.
actually
That's absolutely not
It's
the right
It's
movie.
but I think it might be sort of because like it's one that you guys really don't want to see.
I see.
It's like you don't even want to spend the time to see this movie. 'Cause it's, do you know what I'm talking about?
I bet I know what it is.
What do you think it is?
Is it Zardoz?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, totally.
I
It's one of those. It's one of these dumb things, and I get it. It's kind of a tired thing. It's so bad, it's good, kind of thing. But that's one for me that I'm like, I think that
Yeah.
movie is.
I have
a
no
real
opinion of
joy
the
to
movie.
watch.
Okay.
But it is not a representation of a good film.
Sure.
not and
But-
certainly not one that a family-friendly podcast should be recommending.
No,
in any
it's definitely
shape or
not.
form.
Children should not be watching this.
Yeah.
This film.
Yeah, and I mean, some would say adults shouldn't be watching it either. But
I would
Yeah.
disagree.
yeah, that's and
I would
that's
disagree.
maybe And I think Caleb's disagreement is valid. So
And see, that's how it's done.
that's
And
how you do
that's
it. That's
right there.
I mean, I've never seen the movie, so I don't
Right.
actually know.
But you saw Gabe listen to
Yes.
Caleb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even though Caleb's opinion is clearly not founded in like real
Yeah.
feeling or
Right.
interest in this movie, and is just like trying to stand out,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Gabe was able to sort of use Aikido,
Yeah.
like sort of a
He sort of got me.
conversational Aikido.
I'll admit it. He sort of got me that time. And let's
Yeah.
see if we can find one where I can get him.
Okay. I can't remember any movies that I've ever watched. That's
Not right
basically
now?
where I'm
What
at
about when
right
we
now.
were kids?
Yeah, what was a movie we
Would disagree over when we were
I
kids.
mean, we liked a lot of the same stuff. That's kind of the problem.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities there.
Yeah, lots of similar tastes.
It is funny because I was thinking about in our family how
Yeah. Okay.
kind of closely so many of our tastes really
Yeah.
align. It's
Yeah.
like I was
It's
I was
true. I
applying
mean,
this to us, and I was like, yeah, it's
I remember
It's funny.
getting a lot of flack when I would be the one out with mom or dad running errands, and a stop at the video store was one of those errands.
Oh yeah.
And I got to choose the movie from the
Yeah.
video rental store, El Video, and I would come home with Balto,
Yeah, I agree.
which
not-
was one of my favorite movies
Yep.
when I was a kid. Didn't watch it for years. Had a kid of my own. Watched it with my kid. It's not a very good movie. It barely
So now
hangs
you
together
see how
as a
right
movie.
we were. And then,
Yeah.
honestly, the thing wasn't that Balto. I disliked Balto. It was like, I just don't want to watch it like
All the
time.
100 times.
Oh
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gabe would get into things and he would
True.
stick with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we would watch, Gabe is the 6th child, I'm the 5th. We have 2 more below that, and
Uh-huh.
everything was really busy. And so sometimes TV was sort of our babysitter.
Yeah.
And Gabe wanted the same babysitter.
Yeah.
Meaning just watch Toy Story
Toy
again
Story over and over.
and again.
Lion King over
Just-
and over.
Knew how to take it out of the TV, put it in the rewind machine. Quick,
Yep.
quick, flip it out,
Pop
pop it
it
back
in.
in.
Yeah.
So those are 2 movies that I used to like, but Gabe kind of convinced me. It's one of those things where it's like Gabe kind of convinced me to not like them.
right.
Yeah. So maybe that's what you could do is just always Peter, when John says I would rather watch The Hobbit,
Right.
than just say, okay, we're only going to watch The Hobbit. We will only ever watch The Hobbit. Commit to it.
Yeah.
Watch The Hobbit every time you watch a movie, and he will probably welcome the suggestion after a few months or years of this
Yeah.
of let's watch Lord of the Rings.
That's a good way to do it too. This is a great way to infuriate someone who wants to stand out. Is just always join them.
Yeah.
True.
They never get to stand out anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's an important.
You're not getting your way, but now they don't get their deep-seated desire to, you have to watch this dumb movie again, but you're really getting at your brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is its own
You know.
satisfaction.
Yeah. Oh, it is.
Right. Yeah. To know that that there's this sort of the stream that feels that it has an unalterable course,
Right.
and you've figured out exactly how to.
Figured out how to do it. And maybe here's another part of the trick is don't focus on watching the movie when you do that. Just watch your brother.
Yeah.
Just look at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He might not
Yeah.
like that.
He
Yeah.
probably won't like it, but you will have kind of the joy
Yes.
of watching
Right.
just a very strange admixture of emotions.
Yeah.
Wash over somebody's face.
You can say, sure, we'll watch. I don't want to watch The Hobbit, but
Yeah.
what I do want to watch is I want to watch you have a
You-
good time.
Enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
And you turn on The Hobbit,
And you
then
can
just
say
sit there
that
and
out
watch it.
loud.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
you
you're
should.
telling him. I
Yeah.
mean, it's almost not worth doing if you're
If
not,
you're not-
going to tell
Tell
him.
him.
I mean, another way
So-
to do this pull this kind of move would just
Yeah.
be to like nod.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Mhm.
Let's watch The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Yeah, just nod.
Yeah.
And actually don't stop watching him. Go get the remote
Mhm.
blindly. Keep your eyes on your brother.
Yeah.
I don't know. Look,
Okay.
we've given you. There's good ways to go,
Listen.
bad ways to go. We've kind of outlined all these different ways.
Mm.
So we haven't really directed you down which path
Right.
we think you should go. We've just kind of laid them out.
Well,
And
because
that's sort of what you end up finding about real wisdom. Is that
That's
it's, yeah.
when you experience true wisdom,
Yeah.
that's what it looks like. Is that there's going to be so many different situations where you're going to have to respond in a different way. So
Yeah.
you need to have this sort of smorgasbord approach. Yeah. So because you're going to try something, you're going to be like, I'm going to agree with John. Then John starts to fall in line
Yeah.
with familial taste.
Yes.
So now what do? Now you stand out because you're the one who loves The Hobbit, apparently.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. And you
Yeah.
can basically
Hobbit,
look at it
parentheses,
as
the dwarves.
Right. Seems like you got a message there.
I think
Really sorry, everyone.
Caleb's phone that's plugged into the.
Really sorry. I meant to put on my do not disturb, and I
That
didn't.
wasn't a sound
I didn't.
effect. It sounds like it could have been
It sounds
one
like
of
I could
Caleb's
have
sound
pressed
effects.
I know, and I haven't.
Maybe we
done
should just
any
play it off.
sound
You
effects.
really haven't done any
I've got really into this
But
talk.
but I also think it's important to call out that you essentially you have two
Yeah.
options, two ways, two directions that you're in front of you here, and one is to listen and to try to understand, to really be empathetic and try to get into the mind of John and see where he's coming from.
If for no other reason, just to manipulate him.
Well, no,
Yeah.
but that's what I
Right.
was going to
Yeah.
say is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you can do that, and hopefully you can come to a compromise, or you can develop a shared taste
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Or the alternative is that you can
Now you have information.
watch The Hobbit over and over with him and
Yeah.
just use that as a means of getting under his skin and really irritating him. And-
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that was an accident. That slip fall sound
Yeah.
was an accident.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
That sums it up perfectly.
Yeah. And you could also use this kind of technique where your older brother, you're an older brother, and you're
Yeah.
trying to listen, and you just keep saying this.
What you say?
Right.
Yeah.
Just
What you say? But tone of voice is so important. I feel like that's one of the things
Oh,
that I
okay.
really captured there.
yeah.
Is it is very much like I'm interested
Yeah.
Yeah.
in what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Receptive.
What you say?
What
Yeah.
you say?
Yeah. Wow, that's so good, Josh.
Sounds pretty familiar.
Yeah.
So that's great. This also puts me in mind of sort of where I know we need to kind of cinch it up. But since we're talking to
we do.
a young man
Yeah.
here, there's a lot of biblical
Oh,
stuff
definitely.
that biblical
Mm.
stuff.
And
Yeah.
biblical
That-
words.
Yes,
Yeah.
that fall in line with like didn't Abel really stand out?
Right.
You know,
He stood
Abel
out in
did
a field, bashed his brother's brains in.
right?
Or no, Abel.
Well, I mean,
no,
Abel,
sorry.
he
Yeah.
got
bashed.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe
I guess maybe you could look at it as Abel and God were sort of aligned, and Cain was
standing
Yeah.
out.
standing
You
out.
could
as
look
well.
at it that way, and I
Yeah.
just
That
think
does seem how it
maybe
kind of is more.
yeah, maybe
that
Gabe
Cain-
has been like watching so many movies and should read his Bible a little bit more.
Yeah.
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 Why? Because I made a very small mistake about Cain and Abel.
I don't know.
Yeah. That could be. I mean, you're probably.
Yeah.
We could
It
all.
could
we could
just
all,
be the
Yeah.
tip of the iceberg.
We could all stand to read our Bible more.
Well, certainly. I'll
I
be the
don't
first
know.
to take that.
I've
as-
been
Isn't that funny when
I've
people
been
talk
having
about
trouble finding time to do other things.
when people talk about reading the Bible? They say, "Read my Bible,"
yeah,
like
which
really
is different.
taking ownership over.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
over
Word of God.
The Word of God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
like-
funny to me.
especially if you've
Yeah.
done something like weird,
Yeah.
like Thomas Jefferson
Yep.
kind of
Right.
thing to your Bible.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
put some recipes in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm just looking over those
Look at that.
recipes.
Oh,
that
this is how you
sounds
make
good.
rice. Oh, that's how you make rice.
That's how you make rice.
I got a recipe.
Water.
Printed out a recipe for rice.
Rice.
Put it in my Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My Bible.
So, guys, thanks so much. This has been Advanced Answering Techniques. We'd love to get questions from you. We've got a number of questions in the hopper right now.
Oh yeah. Love it.
But we always love to see more flowing in, so you can send those to
We're like
advanced.
Smaug, and the questions are a pile of gold, and we
Oh,
get to
yeah.
sit on the pile of gold.
We're looking for the Arkenstone, though.
You can send those into advancedansweringtechniques@gmail.com. We're looking for an audio message, an audio file of about a minute in length.
Did anyone send any question in that is a picture of an item?
It hasn't
Oh,
happened.
okay.
Nope. We've all been very traditional.
Word kind of questions.
Yes, word questions.
It's good. It's good.
We've all been linguistically
Okay.
oriented.
Let's
Okay,
try. Let's
interesting.
try to. Let's come up because since we
Just
started
give an
asking.
example.
Since
Yeah.
we started asking for no the pictures of an object or an item that are questions.
Inherently questions.
Since we've started asking for those, we've gotten more regular questions.
Right.
Oh, so maybe that's
so
part
we're
of it.
setting it, the standard above
yeah.
Yeah.
what people want to do. So what we should come up with another kind of question they can
Yeah,
send in.
a kind
Yeah,
of-
that's
And
good.
I have a pitch.
Okay.
People should start sending in by check, or they can just use cash. They can use amounts of money that are
That is
questions.
really good.
That's a
So-
fantastic idea. Yeah, a
Yeah.
certain amount
And
of
we'll
money.
just try to
like-
answer it.
Yeah.
If it's $50, we'll come up with an answer.
Make
to
that-
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Make that
$50 is a fantastic question.
make
Right.
that payable
Yeah.
to Advanced Answering Techniques LLC.
Yes.
Right.
And the thing about it is, also, like, even a question that kind of sounds creepy, like $666,
right.
I think it's actually still a good question.
That's a
Right.
great question.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it's a good prequel for what would hopefully be the follow-up question, which was $777.
Yeah.
I would like both those questions.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Hey, what do you guys say we zip this thing up, huh?
We fell. You're zipping. You were
Another
clearly
accident.
zipping up a 3-story tent. You're on a ladder.
You fell off the ladder.
Yeah, I fell off the ladder.
Wow.
Yep.
Guys, thanks so much.
Thanks for being with us.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks
Love
for
it.
listening and understanding.
Love it.
And we love your love.
Here's a song. Bye.
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 Hey, hey, Lynn. Heard they got you again. We're not little boys no more, we're little old men. Hey, hey, Lynn. Saw your flyers again. You always had real style, but you never could say when. Hey, hey, Lynn. Put your hands up. Why you wanna stand out? I know you never got it planned out. Hey, hey, Lynn. Heard you saw the face of God, but staring in the sun got you looking kinda odd. Hey, hey, Lynn. What you want with visions? What you want with God and sin? Yeah, hospitals, prisons. Get your front teeth kicked in. Put your hands up. Why you wanna stand out?